It's pretty bad making troll vids for views and Mr. Beast donating to charity, and it's not for views. Mr. Beast is kind. You should not say that Mr. Beast is bad. He is one of the most best YouTubers and he did nothing to you. So why did you make a video on this? He is way better than other YouTubers. He has saved lives. He is a great dude. Then he uses the money he makes to give it away. Shut up, bro. He's so nice and generous, bro. You're just a stupid YouTuber hungry for money. Who would your dream collab be with? Elon Musk. Oh no. But I really want to be Elon one day. Oh no. Companies owned by YouTubers Mr. Beast and Jeffree Star got hundreds of thousands of dollars in relief loans. That's not good. Former employees of YouTuber Mr. Beast allege the star created a toxic work environment where he berated and belittled staff, report says. Damn, that's not a good look.
Now we're gonna take you to Mark's house and just show you where he lives.
So this is where you currently live?
Yeah. This is my room, you know, this is where me, my wife sleep. You see, it ain't no room at all. Like,
You can't even open the door all the way.
right. This is my little cousin's room.
Your little cousin sleeps on an air mattress?
Yeah, and he popped it, so it's flat.
Your cousin is sleeping on an air mattress that's like has a hole in it, so he's sleeping on the floor. Can I just say, I'm super glad you won the $1 million. I really am. The more you show us around, the more I'm like, thank God you won the $1 million. The more you show us around, the more you show us around, the more you show us around, the more I'm like, thank God you won the $1 million.
I have to say it. I declare Mr. Beast cancelled.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So I'm basically the king of cancel culture. You guys have enjoyed my videos cancelling Salt Bae and cancelling Chris Pratt, because that's how cancel culture works. You just cancel someone and then they're basically out of work forever. That's how us lefties do it. But today I'm turning my Sauron's eye towards Mr. Beast. Now, I read a couple comments at the start. Those are actually comments I constantly get on my older videos of Mr. Beast. Now, I went back and watched my older videos, and I thought I was actually too nice to him. So today what I'm going to do is get all my thoughts together over the last couple years, talking about this stuff, and cancel Mr. Beast for good. He's not surviving this video. By the end of this video, he'll be out of work. So if you like Mr. Beast, go enjoy his last couple videos because he ain't making another one. But before we cancel Mr. Beast for good, I'm going to plug my socials and my Patreon for about 1 minute. There are timestamps in the description, so just skip forward if you're not interested. Before we get any further, a lot of my work on this channel is demonetized because when you're covering more serious, sometimes edgier topics, YouTube doesn't like this. So if you've ever enjoyed my work, please consider becoming a patron. And you don't have to pledge a crazy amount. I want to build up my Patreon based on as many people as possible, pledging little amounts like $1 or $2. So if you feel like I have ever brought anything that's worthwhile into your life and my content, please really consider becoming a patron to help me continue to do this regardless of if YouTube monetize or not most of my videos in a given month. Also, if you want to join our communities, come check out our Discord and my subreddit. Those links in the description. And if you want to follow me personally, please check out the Kavernacle at Twitter, at Instagram, and also my personal Reddit where you can keep up to date with all my content and what I'm doing. We are nicely chugging along to 50k. Can we hit 50k this month? It would be nice since it's nearly a year since I quit my job for full-time YouTube. So help me get the last chocolate orange for every 5k. We get a new one. Help me complete the pyramid for the year. Also, I live stream on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and that stuff is archived on my second channel, the Kavernacle Extra. So Mr. Beast is a YouTuber you probably would have seen or at least heard of from that stupid honey advert he always does, or his viral stunts where he spends a load of money. I'm gonna get into like how he built his career because I want to talk about that in relation to his, I guess, more charitable work and why he may do that. But Mr. Beast is currently working on a Squid Game video. Way to completely miss the point about Squid Game, where a simp for Elon Musk is making it for his YouTube channel, where he often just spends ridiculous amounts of money on stupid stunts to make him insanely wealthy. So he's tweeting, the Squid Game sets are coming together. wished the 456 contestants good luck next week. Recreating Squid Games is costing more than I thought it would, but I'm in too deep to stop now. So the details of Mr. Beast's Squid Game. Ever since Mr. Beast announced his real-life recreation of Squid Game, people have been excited to get more details about it, such as the reward, how they can participate in it, and more. There were several ways to stand a chance to participate in real-life recreation of Squid Games. One way that is still valid is to comment your contestant name on Mr. Beast's famous TikTok video, which started the whole venture. Mr. Beast also dropped a line of merchandise to help pay for the cost of recreating his Squid Game. Not that he doesn't have enough money to do this anyway. He announced that he would invite 100 random people who purchased the merchandise to participate in his rendition of Squid Game. Furthermore, people were also curious about who they would see participating in the Squid Game. Naturally, we can expect to see a large number of streamers participate in the event. However, the event will not feature just streamers. In keeping with the essence of the original show, Mr. Beast's event will also feature people from all walks of life. Therefore, viewers can see 456 participants in the real-life Squid Game rendition, out of which they may recognise only a few faces. There is no release date yet on the long-awaited video. So if I was the creator of Squid Game, I'd love that my really personal story about trying to find work in South Korea, like the debt crisis in South Korea, and my generally anti-capitalist show about how everyone is forced to compete in the Squid Game, destroy each other to actually make it in capitalism. I'd hate for that to then be used by a millionaire who simps for Elon Musk, who's very capitalist, doesn't actually treat his employees that nicely, so he can use it to sell loads of merch, so he can use it to make another viral video with loads of other streamers to probably boost the revenue even more, and basically completely erase the meaning out of the show in the first place, where instead of being a criticism of capitalism and South Korean capitalism, it is now just a fun game show for everyone to play and watch. And that's the message of the show. Look at this wacky game show where people actually lose their lives instead of just losing. But not surprising, Mr. Beast would probably either miss the point or not care because he's a massive clout chaser. So to get into my points about him not being genuine with things like charity and him just being obsessed about himself, I want to talk about his rise to fame, because how he actually got famous is pretty stupid, but I think it says a lot about him personally. So an article by Style saying, is Mr. Beast the world's most controversial YouTuber? Meet the 22-year-old famous for giving millions to strangers and opening a free restaurant. So talking about his background and how he made it. So as Mr. Beast attempted to game the platform's algorithm, the aspiring YouTuber went through stages of trends on his channel. Funny compilations of highlights playing Minecraft and COD, estimating YouTubers' wealth, offering tips and tricks to aspiring creators, and commentating on drama. But in the early days, Mr. Beast made very few appearances. He started to gain a following in 2015 and 2016 thanks to his worst intro series of videos, which rounded up and poked fun at YouTuber introductions he discovered on the platform. By mid-2016, he had 30,000 subscribers. In late 2016, he enrolled in college. Although the details of his higher education are hard to come by, the YouTuber said he only lasted 2 weeks, dropping out, telling his mum, "I'd rather be poor than do anything besides YouTube." So very obsessed with becoming a YouTuber. His mother nevertheless made him move out of the family home in North Carolina at 18, and he said she loves me and just wanted me to be successful. Mr. Beast first went viral in January 2017 when he uploaded a video showing himself counting to 100,000, which he later revealed took him 44 hours. "I just really wanted it," he said later of the challenge. "I had dropped out of college and I wasn't really making much. I knew it would go viral." So this is a guy who was obsessed with becoming a YouTuber and did this like ridiculous stunts, which most people could probably never do because he's so obsessed with going viral and becoming a YouTuber and gaming the algorithm. Remember that, he's all about doing stuff to get attention. So after the first video went viral, Mr. Beast found out what the YouTube algorithm liked. He quickly amassed more views of similar stunts like spinning a fidget spinner for 24 hours and watching Jake Paul's It's Everyday Bro music video for 10 hours straight. By November 2017, his channel had reached 1 million subs. So this guy basically became popular from putting out stupid viral content, and you can see the similarities today where all his content is about spending vast amounts of money on ridiculous stuff. So ridiculous, most people are going to click on it because they want to see what happens in this video. But his content hasn't really changed, and in my mind, all his content is just about him making himself more money, making himself more popular, and that includes his charity stuff as well. And why I think he often does his charity stuff is to reduce criticism of how much he actually wastes on his videos. So people like me will criticize him, be like, look at all the money you're wasting. What a waste of money to spend like $600,000 on fireworks. He's like, well, look at all the good charity work I'm doing. And we're going to get back to, at the end of the video, millionaires doing charity work and how I don't think it's a good way to reduce criticism. So I've talked about this before, but I find Mr. Beast's content generally pretty gross, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So in 2019, I believe, he ran a game show, which I think had 5 episodes, where various contestants would do silly challenges like him. So you have to be on an exercise bike for the most amount of time out of all the contestants. And then the final was having your hand on $1 million for as long as possible.
Dead serious. Last one of you to take your hand off this $1 million stack of cash keeps it. I don't care if it takes an hour, day, week, month, year. I don't care if it takes a decade. The last one of your hands to come off this $1 million keeps it. Yeah! Mark is the winner of the $1 million challenge.
No way!
Yes.
No way! No way! No way! No way!
$1 million, Mark. Yeah. $1 million, you can buy a house, a Lamborghini, another house, depending where you live, another house.
This is unbelievable. Wow, man.
It's now your family's money.
Yeah, all of this.
Oh my God!
$1 million.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yes.
You lying?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So your boy's a millionaire, so I promise you that ring, and it is coming towards you when I come back.
So this guy eventually wins $1 million, and there is a whole element to this, like what drives someone to be able to win these challenges to get $1 million in the first place? Could you be exploiting people's desperation to get them on these game shows? I actually read a lot of good articles about how desperation often fuels game show contestants and stuff like that, and how they prey on that for contestants. But yeah, he won $1 million. How nice. He won it playing in this YouTube game show. Now, Mr. Beast's follow-up video to this was spending $1 million in 24 hours. Now, I really, really hope, for the sake of the guy who won it, I think he's called Mark, that was in the contract he signed or something. Like, they didn't spring it on him like, yo, Mark, you know what'd be fun? If we spent that $1 million in 24 hours. How do you feel about that? Because what eventually happens is he just spends it on loads of ridiculous stuff. Like, he just goes on a shopping spree, spending loads of money he doesn't need to.
All right, so you now have 24 hours to spend the $1 million. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it. Here you go.
Thank you.
Two?
Give me 2. I want a Nintendo Switch.
All right.
2 of us.
Whoa, 2?
You sure you don't want the cheaper one? Nah, I'm just messing. You got $1 million.
That's the Series 5.
Okay.
Two Note 10 Pluses. Of course, the new iPads as well.
Wow. Thank you.
I don't know how much that was, but it's right there on the counter.
All I need from you is a signature right here. The vehicles are yours.
You better not read it. You're a millionaire. You ain't got time to read.
What if Mark was like, yeah, how much is this coat rack?
Just for clarity, how much is this house? It's $165, right? Yep. Okay, which is perfectly in the budget.
If that was me and I won $1 million, the only thing I would buy with it probably is a house. Probably just save the rest or invest the rest or, you know, anything like that, rather than trying to spend the whole thing in 24 hours. But it's clear Mr. Beast is using this for another viral video, which will probably make him more than $1 million. You guys might not find that controversial, and that's fine, but I'm going to get to the bad part, right? For some reason, Mr. Beast feels the need to include this guy's current living situation. Like, you guys would have been fine to just see him spend the $1 million, give his friends presents, maybe, you know, he says he wants to buy his wife a ring in the videos as well. That's all nice, and he can do that. But Mr. Beast wants to show you how this guy lived before the $1 million. And please notice, like, the sad music playing on top of this.
The 2001 Toyota Camry.
I bought it like that.
Oh, dang. How much did you buy it for?
$600.
So the current house we were just in, which is smaller than the one you just bought, you actually split it in half with another family.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Technically, anybody could use $1 million, but it's clear that this is really going to change your life and help you out in a positive way. And I'm glad we could do that for you, man.
Now we're gonna take you to Mark's house and just show you where he lives.
So this is where you currently live.
Yeah.
This is my room. You know, this is where me,
My wife sleep. See, they ain't no room at all. Like
You can't even open the door all the way.
right. This is my little cousin's room.
Your little cousin sleeps on an air mattress?
Yeah, and he popped it, so it's flat.
Your cousin is sleeping on an air mattress that's like has a hole in it, so he's sleeping on the floor. Can I just say, I'm super glad you won the $1 million. I really am. The more you show us around, the more I'm like, thank God you won the $1 million. The more you show us around, the more you show us around, the more you show us around, the more I'm like, thank God you won the $1 million.
So isn't that nice? Mr. Beast showed you his home, showed you his car, and says he's so happy this guy won the $1 million. So both making Mr. Beast to a lot of people look good. Oh look, I helped someone out of poverty. Aren't I such a benevolent millionaire? But to me, it's pretty disgusting. He's basically using this guy's living situation to make himself look better. Like he saved this person from a life of poverty. You didn't have to show that. You can tell us maybe he doesn't come from a wealthy background or even like a middle class background. You don't need to show us where he lives and saying like what a trash heap it is, essentially implying that with your language. Because also, lots of people live in worse conditions than this as well, and some of them might be viewing your content. I don't know, I generally just think it's offensive, exploitative, and just trying to make himself look better. Like, why is this in the video? I don't understand. The only reason I can speculate is Mr. Beast wanted to make himself look better. So please, people, have some more cynicism when you're watching stuff like this. Like, everyone telling me in my last video, he's such a great guy, he gives away money just to make people's lives better, there's no selfish motive at all, he just loves helping people. So we're going to get into this a bit more now as well. With both him taking money off the government from the CARE Act during the initial stages of the pandemic, and then also treating his workers really badly. I guess he's living up to the aspirations of being like Elon Musk, who also does the same thing. But to show how full of rubbish this guy is and his company is, so first of all, insider reporting in September last year, companies owned by Mr. Beast and Jeffree Star got hundreds of thousands of dollars in relief loans. Mr. Beast, YouTube LLC, and Jeffree Star both received these loans. ProPublica's database of companies approved for over 150,000 in Paycheck Protection Program loans, and disclosed by the Small Business Administration show that Mr. Beast, YouTube LLC, and Jeffree Star each received a loan of $350,000 to $1 million. The esports company FaZe Clan also received a loan similar to this. PPP loans, part of the Federal CARES Act, are intended to help small businesses weather the economic impact of the pandemic and keep workers on payrolls. The Small Business Administration said the loans would be fully forgiven if funds were put towards payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, and utilities. So basically, if you use it for certain parts of your business, it's like free money. So a representative from Mr. Beast responded to this and he said to Mashable that the company had received a loan saying that it employed over 40 employees. The representative told Mashable that the ProPublica database showing that it reported only 7 was a clerical error, okay, and that many of its brand partnerships had fallen through during the pandemic. So, does anyone want to look at the videos he was making when he claimed all his money was going away? So here is a nice one for you. Here he is spending $600,000 on fireworks.
This is the most expensive firework in the entire world, and it cost me over $160,000. And I also bought a $5,000 firework, a $10,000 one, and this big behemoth right here is a $40,000 firework. And everything here, we spent over $600,000 on this video, and every single firework will be launched. We are about to launch the largest firework anyone in mankind's history has ever seen. Literally a world record. $160,000. Give me one!
So this guy needs a federal loan that will be written off to pay his employees and for business expenses, could be up to $1 million, while wasting $600K on fireworks. And this is just like one video of many where he just spends a ton of money. This is the last person who needs federal loans, but it's, you know, obviously what capitalists do is they just exploit anything. So your taxpayer money, everyone, paid for Mr. Beast's employees' salaries, despite him being a millionaire who regularly spends up to $1 million on one video. Now, just to link to this, I also had to contrast to watch him giving out money to people who've suffered financial hardship during the pandemic as well.
I never thought that the whole world would just stop. I mean, I live in New York City, so, you know, at the beginning I kind of was essential at my job, and at the end I wasn't.
You've been laid off recently?
Yeah. My last day of work was the 20th.
It hurts to hear all this. So here at WSMB, we want to give you $10,000 to try to make your life a little bit easier.
That's crazy university. That's just insane.
Oh, you're about to make me cry. Okay.
Trying to make a decision whether to take a job, you might get sick.
Hopefully that $10,000 makes it where you don't have to pick, a job that can potentially get you sick. How's the recent pandemic affected you?
I am out of work. As soon as they heard about it, we were shut down. So I rely on mostly family.
How does that make Blast University feel? All right, so we here at Blast University want to help you out. How does $5,000 sound? Do you think that would help alleviate some stress from your life? $5,000.
Help a lot. I can pay a lot of bills.
We're glad we could help you.
I'm glad you could help me.
Do you have time for a quick survey?
Yeah, I guess so.
Have financially and everything, things been good, or has the pandemic affected you negatively?
The pandemic has definitely affected us negatively. I got laid off from my job. Supposedly,
You got laid off.
my whole team just kind of got in.
Pick a number between 1 and 10.
9.
Do you think $9,000 will help make your life better?
Yeah, I think $9,000 would be amazing.
Well then, right after this call, I'm gonna wire you $9,000 to try to make things a little less stressful for you.
Thank you.
So apparently you need financial relief from the government. You're both spending hundreds of thousands on fireworks and also giving money away for free to people as well who are suffering financially, but you still take the relief loan. And on that video as well about the financial aid, would be nice if you could maybe give these people a bit more, considering you've spent hundreds of thousands on completely ridiculous stuff. And also it's pretty telling, the video where he does the fireworks has way more views than the video where he gives away all this money, which he probably knew would happen as well, because people do not care as much about just like this charitable thing compared to that. I'm just cynical that he's doing this out of the goodness of his own heart. He's doing it to shut down criticism of how much he spends on ridiculous stuff. He seems like Elon Musk to me, who pretends to be like a very moral guy, and he's doing it for the benefit of humanity. We're going to take humanity to the stars and take them to Mars, where I'll be the king of the colony there. While at the same time, union busting in his like San Francisco Tesla factory, generally being an awful person on Twitter, celebrating imperialism in places like Bolivia and the Bolivian coup in 2019. This is a guy Mr. Beast simps for. Now, getting into that Elon Musk simping, you guys probably saw the tweets at the start saying, I really want to be Elon one day, and Elon Musk would be his dream guest. Now, he seems to be doing a good job of emulating his favorite tech billionaire, in that he's also treating his employees really badly, allegedly, according to a New York Times report. So, business as usual. In Greenville, many went to work for Mr. Donaldson because of the philanthropic nature of his videos, said 11 people who worked for or with him, 4 of whom asked to remain anonymous because they had signed confidentiality agreements. While he was sometimes generous, they said, his demeanor changed when the cameras weren't around. They described a difficult work environment. Matt Turner, 20, an editor for Mr. Donaldson from February 2018 to September 2019, said Mr. Donaldson had berated him almost every day. Mr. Donaldson often called him by the phrase used to insult people with mental disabilities. Mr. Turner said, leaving him in tears. What a lovely guy this is. Mr. Turner, who did not grow up with Mr. Donaldson, said that while his boss regularly featured his hometown friends in videos, he had struggled to get acknowledgement. I was not credited for anything I did. I'd ask for credit, he'd credit someone else. Nate Anderson, 22, who moved to Greenville to work for Mr. Donaldson in March 2018, quit after a week over what he said were unreasonable demands. He said Mr. Donaldson was a perfectionist. Nothing ever worked for him, Mr. Anderson said. He always wanted it a certain way. Mr. Anderson later uploaded to his YouTube channel a tell-all video, my experience editing for Mr. Beast, which he said he had hateful comments from Mr. Beast's dedicated fans, many of whom are children. I've experienced that myself. Mr. Turner had a similar experience. These kids don't even know what they're saying. They're just in this cult of YouTube stardom where they don't want to see their biggest creator fall. I totally agree. All the comments I get are pretty like brain dead, but they're obviously from children. Like their arguments are so basic and mind-numbing, it's obvious only a child could come up with them. So working for a 22-year-old YouTube star isn't going to be the most professional work environment. Taylor Lorenz, the author of the Times story, told Insider. But if you're posturing yourself as a business leader or the next Elon Musk, you should think about the type of work culture you're creating and what you're rewarding. Alternatively, if you want to be Elon Musk, maybe emulate his exploitative behavior, because that seems to be what gets rewarded in this awful capitalist system. So in my mind, someone who is so good they only make YouTube videos to fund their charity probably wouldn't be treating his workers so poorly and abusing them as well. And maybe he'd have a bit more of like a social conscience to think that he shouldn't be taking federal aid while wasting money on stupid stunts. He shouldn't be talking about someone's living conditions the way he did in that video of the winner of the $1 million. And maybe, if you're going to do stupid stunts, maybe balance it out. Why don't you spend 300k on the fireworks and put the other 300k into giving all those people you gave money to even more money? So just going to respond to a couple of the arguments I kept getting in my comments on my videos of Mr. Beast. So here's one. He isn't exploitative. He is bringing attention to the cause by giving money to encourage others to do the same. And when it gets views, and it will get him money, and the money will be used to help people again in the future. And it runs and repeats. Your arguments are completely stupid. I also feel like this video is just so you can get clout. So basically, these people view Mr. Beast's whole like enterprise as like a charity, basically. So the only reason he does anything is to make money to give it away. And for his YouTube channel, he makes the crazy video that brings in money. He gives that all away. Keep doing that and doing that and doing that. What a great model for a charity. I bet he doesn't keep anything for himself. I wonder why he needed a 1 million loan to pay his employees. People are such suckers for people like this. Same with Elon Musk. This cult of Musk, cult of Beast. It's the same thing essentially for me. So someone else. So you're saying if Mr. Beast walked up to your mum and gave her 10 grand, you would say that he's gross and exploitative. And I said, if my mum was poor and he did that while filming and said, now spend this in an hour, then yeah, I would say it's gross. So one more comment just showing that it's little kids saying this stuff, because he brings up a YouTuber called Morgs, who I only know is a YouTuber who's like for little kids or something. Why this YouTube channel content is a disgrace to the YouTube platform. I'm gonna explain. 1, he is jealous Mr. Beast is better than his channel. 2, his edit has no effort and is worse than Morgs himself. 3, his channel's so underrated not even a creature would search this up. 4, his thumbnails are cringe and his YouTube video are cringe, and his whole channel just like, no bro, no one loves you. Also, he's calling my channel underrated. He's trying to say my channel is bad by saying it's underrated, meaning my channel is actually good and people don't appreciate it. These simps of Beast are mainly children. So we've gone through all that stuff about Mr. Beast, and before I get into my conclusion about him generally, I want to talk about charities and millionaires giving away a lot of money and philanthropy and stuff like that. So just a good article to frame my argument by the New Statesman I was reading today by Sally Hasselanger, saying there's no question that individuals given to worthy causes provides important relief from states' failures to promote justice and well-being. Philanthropy can also provide key support to resistance movements, yet since wealthy foundations such as the Gates Foundation and Gates Trust hold assets that surpass many countries, there is a reason to be concerned about the political significance of large-scale philanthropy. Large-scale philanthropy is an exercise in power that is fundamentally undemocratic. Since charitable giving brings tax benefits, large-scale philanthropy can undermine the people's will in favour of the donor's own values. In effect, taxpayers subsidise the freedom of the rich to realise their own vision of what is good, while simultaneously depriving democratically chosen programmes of valuable public funds. The structure of philanthropy around the world is increasingly a manifestation of plutocracy. Government by the wealthy, rewarding large-scale philanthropy through tax relief and other subsidies, gives the rich even more power than their wealth already provides to create a society that furthers their interests at the expense of others. In fact, the decline of democracy and the rise of a vast wealth disparities produces a looping effect. Through funding political campaigns and legislative lobbying, along with a media management of public opinion, the rich can influence the government to protect the institutions and practices that enable them to accumulate even greater wealth. Wealth begets power and power begets wealth. So that, of course, is more referencing like ultra rich people like Bill Gates, who's like buying up farmland and stuff, while under the guise of like all this charity stuff. But I feel like Mr. Beast is a symptom of like a wider problem, in that any criticism of him is basically squashed. It's like, well, look at his charity. The same way sometimes when you say all billionaires are bad and shouldn't exist, they're like, well, what about Bill Gates? And Bill Gates Foundation no doubt does good work, but like they're saying, it's undemocratic. These people exist above the rest of us and do what they please. And there's little doubt in my mind that Mr. Beast is probably, you know, I can't be sure, is probably using a lot of his charity for tax breaks and stuff like that, meaning he probably has to pay less on the income he gets. And because of how much money he gets, it's probably actually better for him to give it away in charity stuff so he get tax write-offs. So please spare me like the pure of heart Mr. Beast. No one who treats their employees badly, no one who simps for Elon Musk is doing charity out of the goodness of their own heart and the belief of like equality, or the belief in like left-wing politics, for example, and stuff that will make us all equal. He's doing it to be like his idol. Someone who is worshipped for not good reasons, because he has a whole PR machine behind him. Remember when Elon Musk tried to help those kids trapped in the cave in, I think, Thailand? All that stuff is just a massive PR stunt to whitewash the stuff that he does that is bad. Obviously, being a billionaire anyway is fundamentally immoral, but Elon Musk has actually been proven to treat his workers like garbage. The same with the allegations against Mr. Beast, that he also treats his workers like garbage. If you can't even have fundamental respect for your workforce, you think I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're actually doing charity work out of the goodness of your own heart, and you just really care about people and want to make people's lives better while you're making your workers' lives hell. And the thing is with his charity stuff as well, it's always like these viral initiatives where he like begs people to join him, like Elon Musk did once and Jack Dorsey did once, and he'll message, I know this for a fact, he'll message random YouTubers, like big YouTubers, asking them to collab with him on this stuff. And for me, it's all about clout chasing and promotion. Collabing with other YouTubers is one of the best ways to build your audience because you're cross-pollinating stuff. If you're doing these massive charity events, and even the Squid Game event, where you're featuring loads and loads of people, that's just going to boost your views, boost your subscribers, and then boost your income. This guy is so flashy about everything he does, I seriously don't believe it has anything to do with the goodness of his character. Even going back to how he started, you know, counting to 100,000, watching Jake Paul music videos for 10 hours, that shows me a guy who is like super driven to make himself an online personality, not someone who did that to get famous and rich and then spend it helping the world. Anyway, that is my final point, but Mr. Beast is cancelled. He'll never work again. When people see this video and other left-wing people see this video and we say he's cancelled, then he'll be kicked off YouTube. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you want to follow me on social media, at the Kavernacle on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to join our community, check out my Patreon and my Discord. If you want to support my work, please check out my Patreon. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.